Hey guys, welcome back to yourstory.com. As usual, we bring you some great startups to talk to. Well, I've got MPOWER with me. MPOWER allows you to get a student loan, an international loan that is without any collateral. And explaining to us how is Lana and Ashwini. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Great to see you guys. Is this really true? You guys don't take any collateral?
It's true. We don't require collateral.
Mm-hmm.
We don't require cosigner. We don't require credit history.
Right.
And our loans are fixed rate.
Which means I don't have to go to my mom and dad.
That's right.
And say, please give me collateral.
They don't have to put up their house. Your
Yes.
aunt doesn't have to put up anything. Nobody.
Correct.
It's based on your future potential. So you are able to get a loan based on your own abilities.
Interesting. So MPOWER has raised 100 million and is supporting students like you. And you know they've got requests up to $1 billion of loans, right?
That's right.
That's interesting. They can't serve everybody, but they have served quite a few. They're going to tell us about their journey. Lana, tell me, this is founded by Manu.
It's founded by Mike and Manu, our two co-founders.
Mm-hmm.
They met when they were in graduate school.
Okay.
And for them, this was a very personal mission. What they saw was that other students were struggling to repay and to be able to actually get financing to pay for school. And they thought, how is this a problem? There's so many high potential students all over the world. Why is the US financial services system not serving them? And so a few years later, when the problem still hadn't been solved, they couldn't believe that nobody had figured this out. They said, we want to fix this. And that's when they started MPOWER Financing. We're a public benefit corporation, which means that for us, the social benefit of upward socioeconomic mobility, of access to education, of financial inclusion is critical, and it actually drives our volume and our business performance as well.
Which is very interesting. It's not like as we're going to take collateral and make these students go after paying interest for 30, 40 years.
Right.
You're going to help these students get jobs, maybe find the right jobs,
Yes.
right people, right career coaching, and and you guys can repay your loan in 10 years. That's the tenure. Right. How did that happen? I mean, and you've got 4 easy steps also.
Right. So for us, we thought giving somebody money to go to school is nice, but that's one step.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make sure that they're successful both in their process to get accepted to school, to attend school, but also after graduation? So we provide support for obtaining your visa. We give a support letter and provide some assistance. We help you during school to make your payments and to help build your credit history in the US and Canada. And then as you get close to graduation, we provide career support as well. Resume review will connect you with a career counselor. We even will go into our own network to help connect you for some information interviews. Because for us, when our students are successful, that's when our business is successful and our social mission is successful as well.
Completely agree. And most of these students who applied abroad are struggling to raise finance.
Yes.
Get on to MPOWER. That's M and Power. Right.
MPOWER, MPOWER, yes.
And Lana, it's interesting that you've got Ashwini on board, who's just joined you guys as the head of the India
Yes.
operations. And India is your number one country.
That's right. It's our number one country, both from a business perspective, an internal perspective, as well as a growth perspective. That's why we brought Ashwini on board to
Do you want to talk
grow our
about
business.
your thoughts on India and what you were in the US for a while, weren't you?
Yes, I was there for almost 12 years, and very similarly, I had also taken an education loan at that
How
time.
long did it take you to repay?
It took quite some time, and I had to refinance it also at one point.
Wow.
You used my parents' funds to help me support
Thank you
that.
for sharing that. That's personal. Thank you. I mean,
Yes.
it is true. A lot of people go back to their parents to repay their loans.
Exactly. And I graduated at the time of deep recession, so
Yes.
it was a little bit of a struggle at that point. So when I came across MPOWER, I was able to connect with the story, and I was curious if this was really something they believed in, or if this was just on at a higher level. But
Yeah,
then-
especially when they say collateral-free loan.
Exactly.
Hard to
And,
believe, right?
Yeah, hard to believe, yes.
But the more as I went through the whole interview process, as I read about other students' stories, I started realizing that there is a profound culture and the mission fit alongside of this. So that was very important. And when I came on board, this is just week 2 for me. As what I've learned is that almost every employee feels the same way, and that's how they have aligned on the.
So your responsibilities include threefold, right? You're here for the growth, obviously, as
Absolutely.
a business person. You're here for the R&D.
Sure.
You're also hiring,
Yes.
right?
That's right.
So you want to talk about each of these three. Let's talk about the growth first.
Sure.
And Lana, you could pitch into what you
Yes.
expect from the Indian operations. What type of loans are Indians going for? What kind of courses or they're going to Canada and US mostly. What types of universities do you see that?
Yes, whatever is the traditional setup where most of them are going for a STEM or an MBA, that is true. But MPOWER finances all kinds of courses, not just
Art.
Yes, arts, sciences, commerce. all kinds of courses. So there's no restriction from our standpoint from what kind of course one wants to select for their funding reasons. Right now, there are a couple of objectives on hand. One of them is building the growth story in India. We are rapidly growing and we want that presence to permeate.
Okay.
And the other thing is, alongside of that, we have to scale our business operations.
Yeah.
So that's one of my key objectives.
And you've got an R&D center here?
We are developing. We just started, rapidly growing our technical team, and we have a huge scale up on the technical side as well.
What type of people are you looking out to hire?
We are looking for PHP developers, business analysts, testing, pretty much most of the,
Fresh
IT
hires,
setup.
lateral hires?
Both, yes, we are open to both.
So you got an email on you that they could write to you?
I'm sorry?
Like, is there
Yes.
an email ID?
Yes, absolutely.
Careers.
Careers at MPOWER
Okay.
Financing.
Does that get looked at? Careers at
Financing.com.
Or go on our website. All of our positions are posted there as well. It's a one-click to apply. Yes, it's monitored on a regular basis.
That's interesting, Lana.
Yes.
So India is very important for both of you.
Yes,
That's right.
absolutely.
Simply because of the volume, and Indians are going abroad.
Yes.
Yes, there's a
A
large
lot of that.
appetite for international education. Yes.
And is there and you were saying that they take a lot of STEM, business, biomedical, but you also encourage law and other
Yes.
art subjects,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So, but what would math be higher for the Indians?
Would math be high for Indians? I don't have the statistics
No
on
problem.
that,
That's-
but I will
that's
say
fine.
that there's benefits to a STEM degree, not
Mhm.
just for employment, but also for visa purposes. So yes, we are seeing high demand for STEM.
That's amazing. That's well said. So when they finish their degree, they need to have a credit history, right? They can get better financing because they're going to work there for a
Yes.
couple of years maybe, and also for the visa process, right? It helps. So you help them through that to a career coach. You want to explain that?
Yes, absolutely. So let me take the credit
Yes,
history
please.
part first. So in the U.S., you need a credit score, credit history for access to any financial services product, whether it's even a cell phone or a car or a credit card. So what our loan allows us to do is to help a student build their credit history while they're still in school. So when they graduate, they have access to lower interest rate and a wider breadth of products that they can take advantage of. So that's one piece where we support. The other piece is we know that from many interviews with our students, that when they struggle to pay back their loan, it's not because they don't want to make payments. It's because they're looking for a job that helps them support
Yes.
themselves, their family, and to honor their financial commitments. And we want to help them honor those financial commitments. So we'll help with resume review, we'll help with interview prep. Like I said, we'll even go into our own networks, and if somebody tells us they're interested in finance, I'll try to find somebody for them to speak with about finance. We're building out an entire program we're calling Path to Success.
It's interesting. So I sign up with you, and your algorithm looks at my future potential.
That's right.
Say I'm studying mathematics, and then you look at what streams would mathematicians get into, research or work or
It's
data
something we ask
scientists
on our
or-
application. What would you
Nice.
like to do? What profession would you like to have? And then we use data and a proprietary algorithm to predict what your future earning potential will be.
Interesting.
And what we want to make sure is that what we're giving you in terms of a loan, you're able to support the payments when you graduate. We don't want to saddle somebody with more debt than they can repay,
Yeah.
no matter what degree they obtain.
It's interesting. So you guys can go for a full debt full loan component of your course value. Say if it's $50,000, you do fund them that, or part payment also, right?
That's right. So our maximum loan amount is $50,000 per student over 2 loans. If somebody only needs $5,000, we're happy to help. If somebody needs 50, that's fine as well.
But we are living in a very highly competitive world, right? So you're saying that by making this segment of the population, it's financial inclusion in many ways. You're saying changes their lives.
That's what we've seen, yes. So it's not just the families who've collected $50,000 from and been able to send their child to school. It's lower and middle income families that wouldn't have had access or the possibility or opportunity to study abroad. And what we're seeing is lots more women studying, more middle income families, more about, the family will put together $20,000, but they need another 20 or 30.
Yes.
And so
That's
we
interesting.
help facilitate that top up as well.
If you guys, if you've scored well, or maybe you want to try it out, you can, put in your score. Your GPA scores, or in India's case, it's a mark sheet,
Yes.
Yes.
right? They can upload them, and then is there an essay that they have to write? Or anything?
No essay to write, so our application process is more simple than that. You tell us about what school you've been admitted to and plan on attending. You tell us about your program. You tell us about your past education, about your past career, because most students that we fund our graduate or
Yes.
postgraduate students.
Postgraduate.
They call it postgraduate.
Yes.
They call it postgraduate
yes,
here.
yes.
In the US, you call it graduate.
Graduate.
So I'm
Yeah.
trying to be specific. You tell us about that. You tell us about your financial situation. How much money are you planning on contributing yourself or your family? And that's all the information we need. And then we just need some documents to verify that information. It's a very streamlined process. We try to get you a response very quickly, provide you with a support letter if you need it. We provide a conditional approval if we're able to, so that you have some indication of your future approval potential. And we get you through the process quickly.
It's interesting when you're building a company with such high growth and potential, right? Yeah, as a leader, you got to maintain. You run a profit center globally, so I want to know how tough is it for you as a leader to manage different cultures. Number one, and also figure out that yes, this region, like you suggested, that India is a great region for you. What other regions do you want to bet on, and how do you manage cultures? I want your thoughts.
Sure. Yes. Diversity is really sort of at the DNA of our company. One of our co-founders is from France. One is from Iran. My family is Ukrainian. We are as diverse as almost the United Nations, both in our DC team and everywhere else. So managing cross cultures for us is much more about communication and making sure that we're all staying connected. Especially now that we have a sister headquarters at Bengaluru, we want to make sure that the teams are really cohesive and collaborative, and that's something that Ashwini is going to be working on as well with our DC team.
Yeah, correct. So you'll be collaborating globally, but obviously
Yes.
it's the tech, right? You've got to collaborate.
Tech, operations, marketing, all functions.
Yes.
All functions.
All
That's a
functions.
good role for you, though. You've been in the banking industry. Now you're going to handle the marketing side.
Yes, absolutely. And one thing I want to re-emphasize what she had said is that she mentioned the word sister city. One of the things
That's
I really
very kind of her, actually. Just true. That means you're aligned in a
Oh,
global
yes.
vision. It's not
Exactly.
like a cost center.
Exactly.
It is not a back
Yes.
office operations
Yes.
center. It is a true sister headquarters.
Very well said. So what else can we expect from people talk about AI and things like that. For you as a business head, that doesn't matter. Are dollars coming in?
No, it matters quite a bit.
Yeah,
It
go
helps
on.
to facilitate growth.
Okay.
Right. So what we're seeing is an increase in demand, and we want to make sure is that we keep in touch with our customer.
Okay.
And technology really enables that.
Okay.
So we have a very high touch approach with a lot of customer service that we provide, a lot of engagement, but technology enables that for us.
You're
so
in charge
AI,
of-
data, those
yeah.
are critical for our business.
Yeah, now I know why you say that, because you're also in charge of the customer, productivity, what is the customer
The
engagement?
efficiency and engagement,
yes.
we want to make that application process as streamlined as possible, and remove as many barriers as we can for people to complete that application.
So how do you manage, you guys, you've been here from the beginning with Manu and...
I've been with the company for 4 years.
4
I was the
years?
second employee to be hired.
And
Yes.
high growth, right? How do you manage
So
high growth
high.
companies? You want
So
to
high.
explain to our young entrepreneurs, how do you work in a high growth company?
Yes,
How do you manage?
absolutely. So, for us, it started at the very beginning with the foundation that we started building. We started building a company that wasn't going to blow up, become huge in 4 years, and then flame out because our foundation
With the
wasn't.
valuation and
That's very
Yes.
important, but you can have both at the same time. So we wanted to build something for scale and something that was going to last with a culture that was positive and constructive. And so that's what we've been focusing on from the very beginning. It's not growth at all costs. It's sustainable growth that helps us be a true partner for our universities, for our students, and across, for our employees as well.
I want to ask you this. If you'd worked in California versus Washington,
Yes.
West Coast, East Coast, would the pressure be higher on the California versus Washington, or is it the same in the startup?
It's a little bit different. It's, I would say, faster pace in Washington, D.C. At least that's what I experienced.
The Californians would
In
hate
California,
that.
I had time to go to the beach and go surfing.
Really?
Yes. I worked for a big Wall Street firm when I was in California. And what I found was that I didn't enjoy the corporate life as much. I didn't feel like I had business impact or social impact. And that's what MPOWER has given me sort of personally.
So you ended up meeting the founders. That's how it began in California?
That's right. I met the founders, and when they told me about the business that they were building, it felt like a light bulb in my head went off. I had 12 years of experience on Wall Street with a lot of institutional asset management companies. And then I also have a family that brought me to America so that I could have access to education. 6 members of my family uprooted themselves and moved for me.
And they all went to university? No?
I was the first one to go
in the
to
family.
university, yes, and that's
Very
why they
much like
came.
India in many ways.
Yes, and so I felt like when Mike and Manu told me about their idea, and they had already spent a year building this business, it felt like my experience in financial services and then my personal values and mission really aligned. and I've been incredibly committed to this company ever
It's
since.
interesting. So now that you're handling all roles, perhaps you a few years ago handled everything there
Yes.
as the second employee.
It's very exciting, and you get to do a lot, and you work 16-hour days, and then the
Yes.
benefit of growth is you get to enable other people to really grow the business alongside with you. It's
That's
really
very
exciting.
interesting. For those of you who've joined us, I'm with MPOWER. I'm with the SVP Global Operations, Lana, and I've got the India head, Ashwini, with me. And both of them are changing the way you take student loans.
Yes.
And quickly to tell you, MPOWER takes no collateral.
That's right.
4 easy steps for an international student loan, and you get credit history in the USA, so you can actually work there. After that, you could start whatever you want to do in the US after your
Yes,
education.
that's right.
So, apart from all this work that we spoke about, I also want to know, how do you spend your time? Do you spend time with families, both of you, or do you get time to read? Do you get time to, go out to the beach, like you said, when you were in
Yes.
California, you did. So what do you
Yes.
do nowadays?
Well, I'm recently married. I got
Congratulations.
married, thank you, at the end of
Uh-huh.
April. So lots of time spending with my husband, and it's been
Nice.
very nice. Before MPOWER was my only family. Now it's nice to extend
Good.
that network. I do try to read, but I read so that I can help the company grow and enable
Obviously.
myself as
I think
a leader.
that's a very interesting point you make. And when you're working in a high growth company, you probably want to get literature that helps the growth of that company rather than
Yes.
focus on other things, right? So what are you reading?
So one book that I go back to time and time again is a book by Laszlo Bock called Work Rules. He was the head of people at Google for a long time. And what I really admired about Google and why this book has been important to me is that they take a data-driven approach, but they bring a lot of compassion and a lot of culture, strong culture building to everything that they do. And that's what we try to replicate at MPOWER is the data
Especially
and
while
compassion together.
managing a diverse global
Yes.
team, right? That's very important.
That's right, and
Compassion
it's
is
an
very important.
evolving workforce, right? Different things matter to people these days than they did years ago, and we want to make sure that we're providing the type of work environment where people feel supported, where their professional and personal growth is valued as well.
That's very well said. So guys, check out Laszlo Bock, right? Laszlo Bock.
Laszlo Bock.
Work Rules is the name of the book, and
Yes.
that's what Lana is reading. Ashwini, what have you been reading, or do you get time at all? Now you're part of a high growth startup in India.
I do try to make up some time,
Okay.
and one of the books that I keep going back to, and probably the only one that I've gone back for a third time, is Alchemist, one of my favorites by Paulo Coelho, and that one is built into these intricate layers, but it profoundly touches you at the core of your heart and helps you realize what is it that you truly want in life, right? So now, of course, I don't read the whole book, but I read the snippets of it.
What is it that you truly want from MPOWER, if I can ask you?
Oh, what a great question! I want to know too.
She put me on the spot now.
So tell me, why should people read that book?
Why should people read that book? I think I think for people who are trying to figure out what they want in life, or just try to understand. Sometimes we get into this rat race of life and just go through it. I think reading it would give a perspective,
you mean, yeah.
step back and think through it and reflect on it really well. Right? They can approach the same rat race in a much better way. I would say, put it that way.
That's nice. Then go check out Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Ashwini, Lana, thank you for your time.
Great to be
Thank
here.
you.
Guys, if you have questions, do send it to us. I'll get Lana and Ashwini to answer. But do check out MPOWER. It's going to change your life. It makes you look at debt in a different perspective.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thanks a lot.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. We'll see you in a bit.
Thank you.
It's wonderful.
Good.
But
Yes.
it's nice that I'm going to put in the fact that nobody's recommended this book. Everybody recommends Peter Thiel's 0 to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of a marketing handbook. You've got to handle people first. How many people work with you?
So we are at now, I think maybe 45. It's hard to keep track. We hire
In
somebody new every.
India, it's 45.
In India, we're 15, and we'll be 30 by the end of the year.
But still a product company then. That's
It's
it.
still small, yes.
Yes.
We
That's
have
it,
about
yeah.
30 in the US. We have 15 here. We do a lot with a little.
It's massive.
Yes.